Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. How are you guys? I hope you're all doing well, staying fit and healthy, and staying strong. Okay, inshallah. All right, so talking about fit and healthy, today's topic we're going to talk about is sports. Okay, sports and hobbies. But first, we're going to talk about sports. Okay, I'm sure everybody has their favorite sport they like to play. So do I. I have lots of different sports I like to. I like playing. Yeah, gosh, where do I start? As an Australian, we love our sports. We love. We're pretty fundamental about sports. We do, everything we do on our free time revolves around sport, pretty much. So you could say Australians are sports extremists. Basically, we just loved, anything to do with sport. So yeah, when I was growing up, gosh, I always played sport, before school, at school, after school, on the weekends, in the morning, in the daytime, at night, pretty much anytime I can get out and do things, I would, and probably that's because when I was growing up, we didn't have gadgets, okay? We didn't have phones and laptops, computers, all that stuff, alhamdulillah. So, our way of, spending time would be to play sports, to play games, to basically be outside as much as possible. Obviously, we have to do our homework, that's a must. But basically, whenever there's any free time, we like to go out and, play sports, play, chasing, hide and seek, cycling. I love my BMX. Yeah, cycling is actually one of my favorite sports. I used to play that all the time, and I didn't just cycle, to school and back. I used to ride to school, even though I could walk it, and ride back, obviously. But on the weekends, I would go really, really far away on my bike. I would travel to, to the city, ride around the city, go to the harbour bridge, ride around there, cross the bridge, come back, and then I would keep going all the way through the inner city suburbs and head out towards the beach, like Bondi Beach or Bronte Beach. I remember those moments very clearly. I loved going out there and being out there, and when I get to the beach, I'd lock my bike up on the fence and head down with my backpack, my change of clothes, my towel, and everything that I need. Bring it down to the beach, get changed, go for a swim. Swim for an hour or two, come back. Have a shower, get changed again, and then get back on my bike. It was a Cannondale, very nice bike, about $2,000 worth. But yeah, it was a downhill bike, but obviously you could ride it anywhere. I'd travel, ride back on my way home. I'd go back, through the city again because I live close to the city. So I'd ride back the long, a different route, and just really enjoy my time, on the bike, whether it's by myself, which was usually the case, because back then cycling wasn't very popular like it is these days. These days you see people riding bikes in groups or in teams. When I used to ride, I just rode by myself, and I used to actually meet people on the street, my friends, and they used to be very surprised when they saw me riding on my bike, and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm just going for a ride," and they used to laugh, and I used to think, well, why are they laughing, because they're in the car and they're going somewhere with their friends. It didn't really bother me because I enjoyed doing what I like to do, which was riding, and and I did a lot of riding. Even when I was much younger, let's say primary school, I'd ride my BMX, and I have to show you, I still have my BMXs, not from my childhood days, obviously, but yeah, There's I've got two BMXs at the moment. The Polygon, which is an old classic. That one came out around 2000. And the new one is the Mongoose. I'm not sure if you can see that there. But yeah, it's a good old Mongoose bike. So yeah, love my BMXs. Also, just so you know, I do have a few other bikes. I hardly use them these days, but yeah, there's, excuse the mess, but yeah, there's another old BMX. This is a classic GT BMX. There's a Polygon bike here. That was that's my wife's bike now, and also I have a giant mountain bike at the back there, and sometimes I ride that, you know, when I feel like it. There's my son's old bike. So yeah, love cycling. Always have, always will. So yeah, other sports I love and I enjoy basketball. Okay, I still have my good old basketball here. I've got two. Okay, and they still bounce. Okay, so yes, a bit heavy. Haven't used them for a while, but yes, I love playing basketball. I don't really play that much these days, only because there's nowhere to really play, you know, around here, which is a shame. But yeah, still, I'll bounce the ball and you know, do what I can to get fit and stay fit. Another thing I like doing is badminton. Okay, do you like playing badminton? I do. Probably not my favorite sport, but it's very, you know, very fun sport to play. Okay, obviously you play with the pucks here, and basically what I do is I go outside, which I'll show you, and yeah, I just play out here basically. Here I am outside my house. My neighbor's house. There's a empty land there. So what I do is basically I'll put a line from my neighbor across there on his wall. I put a string or something, and then I attach it to maybe the tree or something like that. And me and my wife would play badminton there. So yeah, that's another way to, you know, that we you know, spend our time to keep fit. And yeah, actually, while I'm out here, I'll show you around just quickly. I'm pretty lucky. I live in a little complex, so it's not busy here. Okay, at the end of the street basically is there, and yeah, if you come over here, I'll show you. Yeah, so this is my little complex. Next door neighbor's house is being renovated. It was rented out and got damaged, but yeah, there's another house. So basically what I do is you know, sometimes I come up here and there's a nice little area up here next door, and basically there's a little field here, you know, and it's quite big actually, you know, and I can walk here and play basketball, and I'm actually hoping to put a basketball net up there, so we can play basketball or badminton or basically anything we want, hopefully. So yeah, I hope to do that soon, especially now with the coronavirus, you know. There's not really much of an opportunity for us to go anywhere or do anything that we want. So we have to try and make the most of what we have, whatever it is, and try and keep, you know, fit and motivated. So yeah, what else? I like to swim. My sister has a pool in the same complex, but yeah, and I usually go for a swim there. Love swimming. What else? Basically, yeah, anything to keep me fit. I really love it. So yeah, whatever it is, I really enjoy, just being fit and healthy. I think it's really important these days, especially, because we're all so busy with our lives that we sometimes forget to look after what's most important. Okay, and that's obviously our health. Yeah. So, yeah. Let's talk about some other sports. I understand in Indonesia, the biggest sports you guys like to play here are basketball, soccer, badminton. Volleyball is quite popular as well, from what I understand. And yeah, I'm sure there's a few other sports that you know. But yeah, what else? Oh yeah, an old sport I used to play is roller skating. Okay, that's an old sport that we don't see very often these days. Roller skating is like rollerblading, except instead of having two wheels next to each other, there's four wheels. Okay, so basically it's a shoe with two wheels at the front and two wheels at the back, and it's what we call a roller skate. And when I was growing up in Sydney, I took that sport. I chose that sport to play every Wednesday, and yeah, it was, oh my god, I love playing roller skates. I'd get so fast going around the rink. There's actually a rink made specially for roller skates, and it's an old ring too. This ring was built back in 1960 or 50 or whatever it was, and it's a shame they closed it down not long after I graduated. But I tell you what, it was a really fun sport to play, and I still remember all the fun times we had with my friends in junior high school playing rollerblading, which is, yeah, really interesting and fun, and obviously very healthy as well. In year 8, I remember I did junior high school, I did water polo. Now water polo is basically, I'm sure most of you have heard it before and you know what it is, but basically it's like soccer in the water. Okay, obviously we don't use our feet to pass the ball around, but we would use our hands to throw it to each other and try to get into the opponent's goal. Okay, but yeah, it can be, that was, as fun as it was, and I'll be honest, I wasn't a very good swimmer at that time, but we did a lot of training to be good, and we would get out there, we would train, I think, twice a week. We would get out to the pools at like 5 o'clock in the morning before school, and we would train for a good hour and a half to 2 hours, 2 or 3 times a week, and then we would compete against other schools. And I've got so many stories. One time I was playing with my versus another school, and we used to actually go to the same school, same primary school. Anyway, I met him in junior high school, but not as friends, as competitors. And he was in the water polo team. He was a bit taller than me, and I think a bit more experienced in swimming. Anyway, when I grabbed the ball, he basically pushed me down from my shoulders. He pushed me down, and then when I was down in the water, he would push me again with his legs. So he'd get on top of my shoulders and push me even further down. And I was like thinking, I thought I was going to die for a minute. Being so deep in the water. But alhamdulillah, I kept cool and stayed calm and got all the way back up above the water and took a deep breath. I wasn't too sure, who did it, but yeah, I think I remember it was my old nemesis, Danny. Yeah, it's all part of playing a sport. I guess there's always a risk. Okay, sometimes you might get hurt, and sometimes you don't. It really depends, but sport is worth it. Yeah, it's worth a bit of blood, sweat, and tears sometimes. It's, you know, what they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So yeah, I wasn't the type of person who gave up. You know, I always tried harder and always tried to do my best. Okay, we never won a trophy in water polo, but you know what? It's not all about the winning. Okay, it's the process of yeah, it's the journey that counts. Another sport I played as I got a bit older in senior high school was rowing. Okay, because my high school was actually right next to a wharf and a bay area, and we had rowing as a sport. So yes, I would get out there once a week, Wednesday afternoons, and you know, with a few people, and we'd get out there and grab our oars and grab our little canoe, like rowing boats. Actually, they're not canoes; they're real proper rowing boats. And we would get out there on the bay and just start rowing away. You know, the teacher would say, "Okay, I want you to go from here to there, and then come back and whatever." And we would do that, and then we'd try to race each other and see who can do it faster. And so yeah, another great sport. So anyway, I could talk about sport all day because I love it that much, and I really do. It's just a shame. I think now I'm getting older. You know, my body is starting to kind of get weaker as well, so I don't have as much energy as I did before. But I still try to keep fit and healthy, and you know, watch what I eat as well. That's always very important. You know, watching your diet, obviously how much you sleep, okay, and keeping a positive mind. Really, that's you know, that all helps to becoming you know, healthier, fitter, and stronger. Okay, so bit of grammar, okay, that I wanted to discuss about this topic is adverbs of frequency. Okay, we use adverbs of frequency a lot when we're talking about sports and hobbies. For example, how often do you exercise? Okay, you can say I exercise every day, or I go jogging once a week. I play soccer twice a month, twice a week. Yeah, I swim about 3 times a year or 3 times a month. Or I don't exercise very often, or you can say I don't exercise very much. So yeah, we use adverbs of frequency, usually at the end of the sentence, as I've just explained there. But sometimes we use them at the beginning of the sentence, okay? For example, do you like to watch cricket or tennis in the evening? All right, you can say. I could answer, yes, I often watch tennis after dinner. Or I sometimes watch tennis, you know, before bed. Or sometimes I watch tennis on TV before bed. Or I hardly ever watch tennis on TV. Or no, I never watch tennis on TV. Okay, so just a few examples there about on how to use the adverbs of frequency, and something for you to also consider when you're talking about sports. Okay, all right. So I guess that's all for this session. What's your favorite sport? Let me ask you a few questions, and let me see if you can answer these questions. Okay. Question 1: how often do you work out, or how often do you exercise? How long do you spend at the gym, or how long do you spend working out, whatever you do, that is, for exercise? Are you good at sports, and which sports are you good at? And how well do you play that sport? For example, how well do you play basketball, or how well do you play soccer? Okay. With that how well do you play question, you can say, you know, I'm pretty well, you know, about average. Okay, so pretty well is pretty good, obviously. About average means yeah, so, yeah, lumayan, you know. Not very well is obviously not very good. Okay, and you know, the other question you could ask is how good are you at sports? Okay, the first question was how well do you play sports, or how well do you play tennis, or whatever sport you're asking about. And the other thing is how good are you at playing tennis, or how good are you at playing basketball? Okay, and again, the answer could be pretty good, I'm okay, or not so good. All right, just a few answers you could use to answer those questions. All right, so have a practice answering those questions, and I will see you guys next time. In the meantime, stay fit, stay strong, stay positive. Remember, healthy mind, healthy body, healthy body, healthy mind. All right, guys. See you next time. Take care. All the best. Peace. Assalamu alaikum.